Hello and welcome back to Late Night Racing L50 League, and today we are in Singapore under the lights in the tropical city, a tropical metropolis really. My name is Savage from Team Crossroads, excited to be back in the commentary seat here in Singapore alongside my very good friend and co-commentator Biggles.
And hello, nice to be back. He probably makes a mistake twice.
That's
so
right.
Here we go.
That's right.
Lining up, ready to go.
The lights are coming on, and 5 lights on, and we are off for the Singapore Grand Prix. Let's see if Shonen can get himself a good start on those medium compounds, and it looks like he has conceded a position to Saku Cho running on the soft tire, surely allowing him the traction to get off the line. And get off the line well, he did. In first position now, leading Shonen Hanti up into third place after the start. And we have a very, very tight pack behind them with Quad Hefe, Simply Air, and Tony Montana mere tenths apart as we see the racing point of Simply Air just spinning ever so slightly on exit from turn number 7, keeping it on the track and keeping it away from the wall, but he loses a lot of positions there.
Dropping down 3 positions from the grid there, and as you said, Saku Chow making that great opportunity to get up in P1. Shonen's going to have to try to get that back now. Hanti moves up 1 place there. Rifer up 2 positions. El Jefe maintains, and Bottas is the other big gainer there, up 3 positions up in P8 now in Ferrari.
That's right. And we have an Alfa Romeo of El Jefe beached into the wall right after the bridge section, and it looks like he has taken some damage. Let's get a closer look. He's missing the entirety.
Destroyed, of El Jefe. Just as I commented that he didn't lose any positions up the start, now he's completely dropped back to plumb last and has to go all the way around. Now he's got to cut, at least he's starting sector 2. Sector 3 now. He's going to go all the way around this slow part of the track as we have the virtual safety car.
His tires will come into their own as we have the Mercedes of, it looks like Reifler going into the pits for a change of tires to the mediums. Very bold strategy, changing up those, for the hards, changing up those tires immediately under that VSC.
It's
very, very quick indeed, and these drivers already fighting for traction into and out of these corners. Of course, the dirty air off of the car in front can be absolutely brutal. But on board with Hanti, out of that final corner, saw a little twitch of the rear end and nearly losing his car. It can all be over way too quickly around Singapore as Shonen now opens his rear wing with the DRS down into turn 7. No move yet, but he is sizing up Saku, and those softs look to already be the weaker tire on our front runner's car. The 2 cars behind him, of course, sporting the medium tire that'll take them much, much farther into the race as Saku's rear end twitches on corner exit and Shonen makes it count into the Singapore sling. Shonen goes into first place and Saku relegated down to second, really fighting those tires on his AlphaTauri. These 2 cars possibly very equal. We will check in on this battle in just a moment as we return to our top 4 as Bottas has now caught up. It looks to be Saku holding Hanti up just a little bit and allowing Bottas to close in on his own set of mediums in the Ferrari.
Certainly.
On a spin, it looks like Saku has retired from the session. It looks like his car is destroyed on exit from the Singapore sling. Not sure if there was any contact there between Hanti and Saku, but his car looks to have hit the wall in the worst possible way.
But one and Raz, both of these drivers that you can see right now on the broadcast as Haniti boxes from P3.
And Saku as well right behind him now. Of course, having right end plate damage on the front wing is a little worse than left end plate damage on a counterclockwise track. The majority of the corners leaning on that right side of the car. And it looks like Saku's going to come to get that damage repaired. Brand new hards onto his AlphaTauri, and we'll see how far he can take them. I think if he's kind enough to his tires, it could be all the way to the end of the race. That's right. And Saku is definitely going to have a tough task ahead of him, clearing the Red Bull of Tony Montana, as well as the other cars in front of him as we go on board with Hasselhoff now. Quad missing the apex of turn number 14 and going wide. No damage on his car at the moment, but definitely having a bit of a mistake under braking. So easy to lock up on this slippery track, especially with the harder compound of tires. Every lap that Saku spends behind Tony Montana, he will pick up more and more degradation on his tires as he looks to size up a move down the inside of turn 1. Will they be accurate on their brakes, hitting the inside curb, the outside curb, nailing his exit from turn number 3, and it looks like Saku has gotten the move done. That's right. And it looks that the other Haas of Quad, Shonen's teammate, is beginning to make a very convincing charge for a spot in the top 4, looking to overtake Top Tier Nude. Now, with Hanti having been in the pits and Top Tier Nude, his teammate, looks like he has not yet, and please correct me if I am wrong, but Quad is looking much faster behind him on a fresh set of tires. They go side by side into the first corner, and that's that move done. Very, very clean from Quad here. Bex here out of the Singapore Sling into the tunnel. Key, absolutely key to be very careful on the throttle. Slight lockup in the front here, using that throttle to pivot the car around the corner, and he gets a phenomenal exit. Overtake button mashed to its very limit, taking the outside line. Will he be able to go all the way around the Mercedes? The Mercedes driver extends the track into the wall, and Saku loses a piece of his front wing as he was absolutely jammed between a car and a hard place, if I may dare say so, and this day is going to get harder and harder for him.
A car in a hard place. I love it. Yes, it's the Chow. I was just, and he has a spin, and I was just about to say, and I hope I didn't. He's retired from the session. I was just about to say, I hope he doesn't do the Saku spin that we saw in the previous race. And just as I was thinking it, he did it. That's so very unfortunate
for him.
Professor Saku, once again, probably needs to go back to the classroom and study what's going wrong there. That's the second time he's had a spin, just pushing the car a little bit too much, I think. A little heated, and that's his race over again. That's very unfortunate.
That's right. It definitely looked like he could have taken a slightly early braking point, as we're on board now with Petzl, who is looking to make a move past his teammate. Now, of course, if Christian Horner's on the radio with these two drivers, he'd tell him just let his teammate go. He's got the faster tire. But unfortunately, there's a collision between the two drivers, and Petzl does a complete 360 and loses so much time.
Quite further down the road there from Bottas. Almost Bottas can probably think about getting in a pit stop there, but they are on the 8-lap tires. And you're seeing this battle here between...
Oof, and just forgive me for the interruption. I was just on board with Petzl here.
Big smash.
Yep, and he just seemed to have been having a lot of trouble with those rear tires of his, and he just over-throttled it on exit from turn number 8, and unfortunately took his wheel off on the wall as we're going right back on board with Quad, who is catching Raz, letting the rear end kick out just a little bit, but all well, and he's still behind his rival, of course. Bottas in the pits, the other Ferrari, putting on, looks like a set of hards to go to the end. And the Haas driver, Quad, getting a much better exit from the first set of corners around the outside. He's going to try to squeeze the Ferrari, and he's going to come out ahead onto that DRS straight.
So that is very unusual for him. And he boxes, but he has a free pit stop in hand anyway.
That's
so
right.
What tires will he go onto?
You know, Shonen doesn't strike me to be the kind of driver that lifts his foot even if he has a comfortable lead. He seems to go all the way, go hard every single lap, and I have all sorts of respect for that. He does not let up, and as Quad gets a 3-second time penalty, the Haas's definitely look to have this race in the bag as they lead both Ferraris at the moment. A 1-2 for the Haas's.
So those good, and as we said, time penalties will come into play. Almost every driver right now has time penalties, apart from Haiti, who you are on board with right now.
Hanti just picked one up, actually, just literally 2 corners ago.
So.
Yeah, just a little too optimistic, and it looks like we have a virtual safety car as Simply Air retires from the session as well. Its car looks to be beached down the second DRS straight leading into turn number 14 this race, because he knows there are a lot of points on the table with that.
Yeah, I want to see the hashtag Hoff for podium.
That's a good one.
Podium. Quad is in the pits now from P3, so he's changing. He's had enough of those 14-lap hards, and that was a long stint that he did on those hards, on those mediums. Sorry, so he's going to have some fresh mediums. And come back out. But I think he was. I'm not sure if he got speeding. There might be some. My little hack that I did into the FIA race control might not be giving me all the accurate information. So
it might just reveal the chaos that happens on the FIA in the FIA system during all these systems. It's just constantly.
Unfortunately, he might have just thrown the Hoff off because he's hit the wall, and he's stuck underneath the. It's not the bridge, but it's the highway, I believe, that crosses over there. So yes.
Hanti looks like he's out of the session here. What happened to him?
It's Hanti retired.
Yep, it looks like he just went. It just looks like he just stopped on track. It didn't look like he collided with anything, but that's our championship leader out of the race, and that's going to throw an interesting spanner into the championship, as Shonen has 37 points in the championship, our race leader. He's currently looks like 5th, and should he win the race with the fastest lap, that will boost him over the 3 drivers in front of him and much closer to Hanti now.
The lap before, anyway, so he has fresh mediums, but that virtual safety car might have helped Bottas gain a little bit, but he's 12 seconds now behind Quad.
That's right, and we're picking up Raz 7, Bottas' teammate in the Ferrari, cruising through the pits for his own drive-through penalty. As it seems, he also exceeded the VSC Delta at the end of that virtual safety car period. And of course, all the drivers have to keep their cars under a certain speed, a predetermined speed that shows up on their steering wheel and in their telemetry. And as we see Raz coming out behind El Jefe, actually, and should they exceed that speed, normally they have up to 15 seconds to reduce their speed and match the delta again. But if they are found red or exceeding that delta, when that safety car ends, they receive an automatic drive-through penalty, which is what Raz had just been kind of for.
What can he do? DRS has now been enabled again.
Just a slight interjection as Raz makes a move in an unlikely place, capitalizing on El Jefe's just little twitch of the rear end, punishing the Alfa Romeo driver and squeaking through in that very tight and twisty 3rd sector. Just wanted to briefly mention, just caught a glimpse of Hoff's Williams beached roughly where the pit entry line is, right on the start-finish straight, missing quite a few parts that are essential to a race car, such as wheels and wings and such. And that is, unfortunately, the reliable Hoff out of the session. 11 seconds down the road, and Raz another 45. So this battle, we are absolutely relishing it as just close on-track, wheel-to-wheel action here in Singapore. El Jefe 4/10 down on the Ferrari, running on a slightly older hard compound, and he looks to have gotten a very good exit down this DRS straight. Which way is the Ferrari going to go? He's going to cover the inside. Jefe goes to the outside. He's got a lead going into the braking zone, but the Ferrari is late on the brakes and squeezes down the inside of the apex. What phenomenal car control by Raz 7, and he reclaims position as Jefe collides with the back of the Ferrari and just sends him into the wall ever so slightly.
Last lap 142. These guys at the moment, El Jefe and Raz, they're running in the 144.7s and 8s. So,
El Jefe making contact again.
And there's also damage to Raz as well as he taps the wall.
Both of the cars suffering equal front wing damage. The left end plate on the Ferrari and the right end plate on the Alfa Romeo, taking a serious.
Shonen has to be very careful here right now as well, because he was following them and bits of end plate were flying off over the track, so he could easily pick up a puncher if the simulation damage is turned on. That could cost him a potential race win. So let's just hope that he wasn't an innocent victim.
But one slight misjudgment of a braking zone could very well change the complexion of this race for him.
Yeah, as well as El Jefe, he's running on the hard compounds, 13 laps, and he's boxing. So there it is. It's costing him time, actually. His last lap was 142. Quad and Bottas were doing 140s, although they still wouldn't have enough time at gaining 2 seconds a lap. So, but I would imagine that having pit stop in hand, Shonen now will box, fix the front wing damage, and most likely definitely go out on the softs, which they are slapping on there and replacing the front wing. They're lucky the Haas team bring plenty of those to the track, although thankfully Shonen only required one, whereas I believe his teammate Quad actually had perhaps used one or two already. And he'll go out, and it's only a matter of time right now as to what ridiculous pace that Shonen will set, because Bottas has the current fastest lap at 138.7. But this is, I would say, show off Shonen time, because now, although Shonen has dropped to Quad during that as well, both El Jefe and Raz, who we'd seen with that great battling that occurred, they had both boxed as well. So whether they both had repaired the damage, yes, they has. Raz, 31.6 second pit stop. El Jefe, 31.5. So they are back at it again, these two. And they've got fresh soft tires. So they're going to give us a race towards the end. As Shonen, as only a matter of time, will get past Quad, as you mentioned before. There's no point in Quad. Quad also has 9 seconds time penalty. Shonen only has 3. So Shonen could even just hang behind Quad for the rest of the race, but Shonen wants to go for the fastest lap, which means he has to get past Quad. He picks up a time penalty, but still 6 seconds as to 9 is not much. But let's have a look at the battle between El Jefe and Raz. Again, these guys just are going to be best of teammates, I'm sure of it. Not teammates, but best of friends after this race. So that has and meanwhile, with this close battle, as we expected, Shonen has made it. So Quad has let Shonen pass, and Shonen's already blitzed up the road. He will get the fastest lap very, very soon as he's in the final corner. But these two, Raz and El Jefe, are battling it out, as you said. They're being a little bit more cautious this time, but El Jefe wants that position. They do have El Jefe has more time penalties as well, so he's going to get past Raz. He's going to get further up the road. Shonen sets the fastest lap at 136. Wow, blistering, 2 seconds quicker. But look, it's like El Jefe here. Where do you make the move as a driver? What are you going to do it now if you're on board with El Jefe? What's your chances of getting past?
I think that DRS straight that they're just about to come onto is a phenomenal opportunity, but a late apex is so essential, and we see Jefe just cutting it a little short on entry, but that doesn't seem to stop him as he goes to the outside. The Ferrari driver covering the inside, ducking behind, and that looks like the move done. And El Jefe now has a mission. Now, Biggles, you said it was 3 seconds he has to get clear of Raz?
It's actually now 6. So, yeah, he has 12 seconds time penalties. Raz has 6 seconds of time penalties. El Jefe, wait, this is not updated. Yeah. Raz has 6 seconds. El Jefe has 12. So, El Jefe will have to get at least 6 seconds ahead now. Race, 5.4 now. And he's 1.2 behind.
Some carbon fiber flying off of Tony's car here. It looks like he just had a minor collision with the wall. Looks like he might have
lost time now. Almost half a second just in that corner now. It's only going to be a matter of time before he pounces over Tony now with that damage.
That's right. Well, it's up to El Jefe to pick a good spot for this, not to force the move, because if he does, he risks putting himself in danger for a collision. And of course, having put in that effort, having driven 30 laps of the Singapore Grand Prix, you definitely want to make it count. You don't want to throw it all away. He goes down the inside, takes the apex, and a nice clean overtake for El Jefe. That looks like a job done. And now he's got one more lap to pull a second more clear of Raz 7 in order to keep that 4th position. We'll go on board with Shonen here as he is about to cross the line for the race win. Very well deserved, and I told you he'd be pretty fired up today, and he was. He showed up, he came, he saw, he conquered, and Shonen takes the flag, the checkered flag, at the Singapore Grand Prix, taking victory by over 20 seconds from the next car, that next car being that of his teammate Quad, and the Haas's, with just a corner to go, will take a 1-2 for the first time this season, scoring an absolute mountain of points for their team.
Yep, Bottas should be comfortable here in a P3. What El Jefe looks like he's got the P4 position. He did. So El Jefe had made it work just enough to get the other Ferrari driver of Raz. Wow, what an exciting finishing. A lot of penalties there. However, Shonen wasn't threatened there, easily winning with a 22 second, and Bottas finishing on the final step of the podium gets our driver of the day.
That's right. And yeah, Shonen absolutely showing himself to be a class above the rest. Untouchable this race. Kept it clean, kept it fast. Well-deserved for the Haas driver, and this will catapult him very, very high in the driver's standings. Second position, to be exact, right behind Hanti, who, of course, did not manage to make it to the end of the race today. 26 points for Shonen, and a great effort for the Haas team.
So give us a shout out for your driver of the day there and on the Twitch field, but obviously that is Shonen. Having started from P1 and finishing P1, which I believe doesn't happen. Haas 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure who the third driver is there, Shonen, who actually shouted on Twitch. But yeah, also saying that fasting lap. Look at that fastest lap too. I mean, that is just 2 seconds quicker than Bottas, who had that fastest lap for much of the period of the race. Obviously Bottas starting in P11 and finishing in P3 is a great drive, and Raz as well, starting from P12. So both the Ferraris had to struggle and get their way through the field, but they still managed to get it and get crucial points for the Ferrari team. But this was definitely Haas's day, and I'm sure the real Haas team would just be loving this if it was the situation with the real Formula One racing.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, an absolutely breathtaking race as we expected around the Singapore circuit. Very, very tough and very, very skillful for the drivers. Once again, congratulations to Shonen and the Haas team. And we are very, very eager to get to the next one.